Hi, I'm Kitty and welcome to the Doll and Toys Repair YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to restring a doll that has articulated limbs. And this method is very good particularly for the antique German porcelain and bisque dolls, and also with some of the reproduction dolls that you see coming along. There's a certain way of restringing them. It's not too difficult, but it's good to know how, with some of the tips and tricks that go along with it, to just make it that little bit simpler. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Great. Okay, so this plug we will now sit inside the head. Put it into the base of the head, so the hook will come out through the little hole in the bottom. I'll actually take my glasses off for this so I can probably see what I'm doing a bit better. So we have the hook out through the bottom of the head, and we hook the 4mm elastic around that. I can put my glasses back on now. Poke it in through the torso, and then using my forceps, pull it out through one leg aperture, poke the other one in, pull that out through the other aperture. And so pull the head into the neck, and we now put on the thigh. So put that in through one thigh, bring it out through the bottom, so now with the top of this leg, when you put the legs on, make sure you're putting the correct side on. So big toe to the middle. You want to anchor this somehow into the leg. With some legs, there's a little hook inside you can hook it onto, or a little piece of a little metal bar in there. If there's nothing in there and no way of attaching the elastic, you can actually put a piece of, say, a little washer on there, poke it down, and then lock it into place with a filler of some kind. The multi-purpose, Selly's multi-purpose compound is very good. But with this, what we need is a washer. So I've got a nice big washer that won't come out once it goes in there, but you can slide it in through there to get it into place. And then to stop the elastic to come out of this washer, I actually poke that through, then poke something else, another washer or some similar thing, onto the elastic. So you've got it like that. And then when you bring that back through, that will stay there. There's no way is that going to come out of the washer. Just make sure you've got enough elastic. You need enough length here to tie things off. So, making sure we've got the right bottom piece. Poke that sideways into there. Use my forceps again, and that will come up and lock into place. And then that you feed back up through the leg. Some models, the aperture in the leg may be quite narrow, and that's when you might have to use a thinner elastic. There have been times when I've attached a long needle to it with a thread, and then got it up through that way. Use the thread as a feeder to get the main elastic up through, but that's okay, that's in place now. So now we'll bring that, we'll now go up through the torso, and into the other side. Now, sometimes when these have been made, particularly I've noticed with the reproduction ones, the walls can be quite thin on the limbs or the torso. So just check if the walls are particularly thin, then don't pull the elastic too tight, or you're going to cause you can cause basically an implosion where it just caves in. So just check how thick it is. This is very good the way it's been made. It's like a very thick paper mache type compound. So that can take a lot of pressure. And we're just bringing this head in a bit too. So we feed it in through the other thigh. And then we get the washer, thread it through the big washer, then thread it through a little washer, back up through the big washer, you can draw it in and use it to get it tight. Keep drawing it in and you'll feel a bit of tension on the elastic after a while. Draw it in through the washer and then pull it back through, and that'll create that bit of tension. And then what we can do is push that big washer through the top of the leg, use the forceps, poke it in, position it. Now it's locked into place. And then we put this elastic back up through the thigh. There have been times when I've got a very, very long pair of forceps, and they can be handy for this too. But I can see that now. There you go. So now, just need to get the right tension. So you can get the right tension by pulling it through. So it works a little bit like that slip knot I showed you how to do in one of my other videos. Let's make sure that head's right. Yes. And tie it off. Nice and tight. But just make sure it's not too tight, that it won't let the legs go out straight. You've got to make sure the legs can still position themselves nicely. Do that again. At least a double knot. The only time you use super glue is on a knot. And make sure you don't get any on your doll. Even if you wipe it off immediately, it's going to leave a mark. So being very careful, put a single dot on there, on the knot. Put the lid back on. Don't want any accidents. Cut that, cut that. And you can actually reposition the knot a little bit using the forceps if you need. Poke it back up into the torso. So there we have the legs on the doll. And for the arms, use the elastic. So we've hooked it onto the hand, the double elastic. Just check that two pieces at once will fit through the aperture in the arms. Poke one through, out it comes. Poke the other through, out it comes. That looks lovely. Then the bigger one. It's the trouble with a thicker elastic. It can be a bit more fiddly. It can take a little more time. Back to my little ones. Grab the elastic, pull it through. There. So we now have the two strands. I think what I'll do is I'll use my long forceps. See if I can get it through there. They can grab hold of the two strands, pull it through, just double check I've got the correct hand on in the right position. Lovely. So trim these bits off. One through. And what I can do is actually lock that off to make sure it doesn't come back out of the arm, and then put the second one through. These forceps are so handy. What I'm going to do now is lock that off. See? It's a bit like you'd actually do in real surgery. Then poke these two through here and out through the bottom. There's one. I'll get my other forceps now. Put that back on there. Then we'll put the hand on. Just make sure the tension on the arms are good. And because the hole's quite big where the hand fits into the base of this arm, it looks to me as though it's going to take a pretty good knot. So that's what I'll do. Double knot. Once again, tiniest bit of super glue. If you haven't got a steady hand, don't risk it. Don't use a super glue. Dangerous stuff if you get it on your dolls. Cut close to the knot. See how I've used that forceps? It holds everything in place while I'm tying and gluing. Now if I lift that, hold the hand, lift the forceps off, and I can actually poke that knot back down into the arm. Let's get into forceps a bit better. Lovely. So here we have the doll fully restrung. It's got double elastic through the arms and through the legs. So it means extra strong. And for a doll that's got heavy limbs and a heavy body and a heavy head, you need that strength in your elastic, or things are going to start flopping around very, very quickly. That elastic will provide firm, strong support for a long, long time. And it also means the head is held on nice and secure. You can now have a pate put on top and a wig, and she's going to look beautiful. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.